How can you become a more effective communicator? What's something you can do to help you improve the way you communicate with people, especially across cultures? So I want to share a framework with you today, a diagram with you today that I think can really add value to your life. I'm Dr. Manny Scott. I have a Ph.D. in Intercultural Communication Competence. I've worked with people all over the world for the last 20 years, and I've spoken across cultures over 2,500 times. That's my life. And I want to share with you a framework that I think can help you become a more effective communicator. I'm going to make it concise. I might go deeper later, but right now I just want to give you a framework. So you are a speaker, you're an educator, and you have a frame of reference. That frame of reference refers to the lens through which you see the world. It was shaped by your cultural background, your personal experiences, your education, your imagination. It was shaped by your personality. Your frame of reference influences everything that you see. It's out of this frame of reference that you have objectives, you have these goals. You want people to learn something, to understand something, to feel something, to do something, but they can't read your mind. And so you have to encode these ideas using words and sounds and facial expressions and body language. And you have to use these things to create a message. And you send this message, this encoded message, to your listener. But there's this stuff called noise that's usually between you and your listener. It's the environment, it's people around them, it's technology. And so you want to try to eliminate as much of the noise as possible in order for the person to hear your message. But that's not your biggest problem. Your biggest obstacle is recognizing that you're speaking to someone who does not share your frame of reference. They have a different cultural conditioning. They have a different background, different education, a different imagination, different values, different beliefs, different experiences. And it's from their frame of reference that they hear your message. And although you control the intentions of your message, only they control the meaning, in the sense that they're the ones who have to interpret the message that you're sending to them. And more often than not, they're going to interpret your message in a way that's different from the way you intended. And that is feedback to you. And that feedback usually leads to the burn of frustration. You can blame them. When you're frustrated, you can attack them. You can look for deficiencies in them. You can ask what's wrong with them. The lights are on, but ain't nobody home. The elevator doesn't go quite to the top floor. They're a couple cans short of a six-pack. What's wrong with these people? You can blame them, or you can suspend judgment. You can avoid letting your conclusions be stronger than your evidence. You can humble yourself and ask questions, decenter yourself. And it's the suspension of judgment that is the key to your understanding. It's the key to your growth. And it's that understanding that you now can use when you are designing and constructing your messages. So if you go back to your frame of reference with this new understanding, and you go back to these objectives, you want them to learn something, feel something, or do something. Okay, based on what you've learned about this person, this cultural other, what can you use? How can you use that new understanding, that reference from their cultural background, to encode it in your message? Use it in the design and the construction of your message and present it to them in ways that are accessible and familiar to them. That is Communication 101 in a nutshell. So whenever you're trying to talk to someone, sometimes there's going to be a disconnect. They're not going to understand something, respond in the way you want them to respond. Before you blame, before you attack, suspend judgment, humble yourself, and ask yourself, is there anything in me that's blinding me from understanding this situation or this person in terms that are familiar to them, in terms that they would say, yes, that's how I see it. That's Communication 101. All right, that's it. What do you think? Like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, add a comment, share this with some friends who are working through some communication issues, especially across culture. Again, I'm Dr. Manny Scott, and I'll see you soon.